Hi, and welcome to Fox 18 Sports Sunday. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to recap some of the best stuff you might have missed this past week. But first, we're going to start with Iowa Hawkeye basketball. We have Hawkeye Headquarters reporter Jarek Andrzejewski in studio. And Jarek, how you doing? Thank you so much for coming in.
I'm good, Dustin. Thanks for having me on. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have you in studio. But first, let's get to some serious business. It's been a bit of a tough stretch for the Hawkeyes over the past two games, losing to Indiana 81-69, and then on Friday, losing to Illinois 80-75. What are your takeaways from these two losses?
I mean, they're two tough losses for two very different reasons. The Indiana game, Iowa came into that really as favorites. No one was really expecting the Hoosiers to get the win there, and I think that was part of the issue. I think Iowa sort of got comfortable in that second half. They got a little cocky and maybe overlooked Indiana a little bit, and that's what led Indiana to win. I remember the Hoosiers held Iowa scoreless for 12 minutes in that second half. And that's really what did the game right there. If you're not scoring for 12 minutes, it's going to allow the other team to get on a run, and that's exactly what they did. And then against Illinois, the issue was mostly on officiating. That's sort of the big takeaway from the game, officiating not helping the Hawkeyes out as much as it could have. So a lot of bad calls going against Iowa. But there are also some execution issues by the Hawkeyes that they could have done better. Despite all of the bad calls that went against them, they had chances to win the game and just weren't able to execute as well as they needed to down the stretch.
I mean, Friday's game against Illinois overall was a tough, hard-fought game on both sides, but what everyone is talking about is when there was 1:06 left in the game and Kofi Coburn was called for goaltending on a Joe Wieskamp shot. Wieskamp would have scored on the putback had that call not been made and maybe changed the outcome in the game for the Hawkeyes. So let's hear from Joe Wieskamp on his frustration on the call.
To me, it's just frustrating looking back. I mean, even if it is a block, I got the rebound, put it right back in, so I don't even know if the ref blew the whistle or not, but either way, it's kind of on them, and it should have been 2 points, either on the first one or on the second one. We should have been down 2 with a minute left, so definitely frustrating there.
You lose the game, and you start looking at, well, you know, this guy should have done this, and I should have done that, and that guy should have done this. And we were in a position to win the game. We had a chance. With a couple roll out on us coming down the stretch, they hit a couple shots, give them credit for that. I think we learned a lot about ourselves in terms of how to play the zone better, how to play transition defense better. I thought our execution was pretty good offensively. But that said, you know, I thought it was a hard-fought, well-played game.
Yeah, Joe Wieskamp definitely frustrated in that. Jarek, what are your thoughts on the call and really the overall officiating in that game?
I mean, Joe has every right to be frustrated there. Iowa just getting the short end of the stick. Unfortunately, that's just the way the rules play out. It was originally called a goaltending. They then reviewed it, overturned it, saw that it was a clean block. But the issue is once they blow the whistle, the ball becomes dead, so that putback by Joe Wieskamp doesn't count. So Iowa then has to inbound the ball instead of just getting the 2 points, and at that stage of the game can really make a pretty big difference. The officiating was really the sticking point in this game. That's what everyone's talking about. A lot of bad calls not helping Iowa out, but like I mentioned earlier, that's not the whole story. You know, basketball and college basketball, you're playing 40 minutes. There's not one thing that's going to be deciding a game. Iowa had a chance down the stretch to take the lead and just they weren't able to. So I'm going to take you back through the final 4 minutes of this game here. It was 69-69 tied up, 4 minutes remaining, and we'll walk through it here. At the 3:45 mark, Curbelo for Illinois gets into the lane. Tough little floater over Jack Nunge. Good offense, just beating good defense. Nothing wrong there. 71-69, fighting Illini. Then at the 3:20 mark, McCaffrey drives in, looking a little bit forced, loses the ball. Nunge dives for it on the ground. He gets it, calling a timeout for Iowa. And then on the inbound, Murray gets the ball right underneath the rim. He puts it up, misses the rim completely, airballs it, unable to score there. Iowa comes back the next possession, 2:42 left in the game, still a 2-point Illinois lead, and Wieskamp hits a 3 in the corner to put Iowa up 1. But then this is where things sort of start to go wrong. 2:25, zone defense is going to shift way too heavy to the strong side, opening a skip pass to Grandison, 74-72 after he knocks down the corner 3. The 2:03 mark, Iowa on the other end of it with the ball. Connor McCaffrey with a turnover, dives on the ground and fouls Curbelo, who hits his 2 free throws, 76-72. Under 2 minutes, around 1:30, Garza misses the 3. Wieskamp here has a chance to get the offensive rebound, but he's unable to handle it thanks to Curbelo behind him knocking it out. Illinois would get the ball. And then that's when the next play comes in, that goaltend that we were just talking about. It's called a goaltend, overturned. The Wieskamp putback is waved off, so Iowa will inbound it. Unfortunately, then on that possession, Bohannon turns it over, trying to feed Garza on the block. And here again, Iowa's just getting more chances. Then a 3-second call against Illinois, so Iowa gets the ball back. 3 by Wieskamp. He hesitates a little bit coming off the screen, misses. Illinois gets the rebound and hits their free throws 78-72. Then 11 seconds left, Bohannon hits a deep 3, 78-75. Illinois leading. And then a 5-second call against Illinois on the inbound. Again, all these opportunities for Iowa. Bohannon unable to hit a 3 after that. They foul Kofi. How about another chance for Iowa? Kofi misses the front end of the 1-and-1, but gets his own rebound and hits the free throws 80-75 there, the final. So a lot of chances for Iowa down the stretch where they just weren't able to convert. Was officiating the main reason that the Hawkeyes lost? Probably. But when it's a championship contending team and they're looking to win a title, not only in the Big Ten but in the March Madness tournament, you got to win between those two about 11 games probably in a row without losing. So, I mean, you'd have to critique yourselves. You have to be tough on this team. That's how I'm judging them. They fell short of what they needed to be against Illinois, even with all that officiating going against them. They had a chance to win and just weren't able to get it done.
Yeah, Jarek, obviously the Hawkeyes are still one of the best teams in the country, and no one thought they would actually go undefeated on the season, but did they have to get back on track after these 2 losses? How did they do that?
Yeah, I mean, not all hope is lost. This is one game in probably the toughest conference in basketball. Iowa was not going to go undefeated during this season, so there's nothing wrong with picking up a loss here and there. It's about how you bounce back. So after the loss to Indiana and now Illinois, the big thing's got to be defense. Defense has been the weakest link. It sort of fueled some of the issues on the offensive end. Getting C.J. Frederick back obviously is going to be a big help too. We still don't know when he'll come back. He's still day-to-day. So defense and staying healthy really the key for Iowa. Their offense has been pretty solid throughout the year. It's just a matter if they can figure out how to play defense collectively for a whole 40 minutes.
Absolutely. Defense wins championships, right?
Absolutely. That's the saying, and I think it's going to prove true again this year.
All right, real quick before I let you go, let's talk about the Hawkeyes upcoming week. They take on Michigan State at home on Tuesday, and then they take on the 13th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, which is going to be a tough one, but at least they have them at home. And then they round out the week on Sunday on the road against Indiana, which is a team that just beat them. Jarek, talk about this upcoming week.
Yeah, I mean, MSU struggled this year. They're near the bottom of the Big Ten, but they can't overlook them. That was the issue with Indiana. They got a little ahead of themselves, and then Indiana ended up beating them. So you have to come out and get a win against Michigan State. After 2 tough losses, you'd hope this is a game that Iowa can get back on track with. Then Ohio State's a tough game too. It's going to be at home, which is helpful, but right now Ohio State with a half-game lead over the Hawkeyes in the Big Ten standing. So that's an opportunity for them to move up a spot and hopefully still put them in a position to be at the top of the conference come the end of the season. And then ending the week, as you said, at Indiana, a bit of a redemption game for Iowa, hoping to sort of overcome that tough loss that they had at home against the Hoosiers. So it's going to be an exciting week for Hawkeye fans, but a challenging one for Iowa basketball players. 3 games this week is a little unusual, but a lot of life is unusual right now, so they'll just have to rise to the challenge and try and come up on top.
A bit of an NBA schedule, if
Yes.
you would say. But all right, thank you, Jarek. Thanks for coming and joining me. Like I said, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you. Okay, coming up next, we're going to recap Iowa wrestling and their win over Illinois today. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back here on Fox 18 Sports Sunday.